Let's explore political ideology and how it influences economic policy decisions in the United States. Political ideology shapes how individuals and political parties view the role of government in the economy, taxation, government spending, and regulation. Political ideology refers to a set of beliefs about the role of government and policy making. In the United States, there are two major ideological perspectives that dominate economic policy debates. More government involvement. Liberals generally believe that the government should play an active role in regulating the economy and providing social welfare programs. Keynesian economics. Many liberals support Keynesian economics, which suggests that the government should increase spending during economic downturns to stimulate demand. Higher taxes on the wealthy. Liberals often support progressive taxation, where higher income individuals pay a larger percentage of their income in taxes. Stronger business regulations. They advocate for strong regulations on businesses to prevent monopolies, protect workers, and safeguard the environment. Government welfare programs, support for programs like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and food assistance, SNAP, to help reduce economic inequality. Less government involvement. Conservatives believe in a free market economy where businesses operate with minimal government interference. Supply-side economics, trickle-down theory. Many conservatives follow the idea that tax cuts for businesses and the wealthy will lead to economic growth by encouraging investment and job creation. Lower taxes for all. They support lower taxes across all income groups, arguing that this boosts individual financial freedom and economic productivity. Deregulation. Conservatives advocate for reducing government regulations to allow businesses to expand and operate more efficiently. Reduction in welfare programs. Conservatives often support cutting or limiting welfare programs, arguing that they create dependency on the government. The federal government has several tools and institutions to implement economic policy, including fiscal policy, refers to how the government taxes and spends money to influence the economy. It is determined by Congress and the President. Expansionary fiscal policy, more spending and lower taxes, is used during recessions to stimulate economic growth. It involves increasing government spending, for example, on infrastructure projects and welfare programs, and cutting taxes to put more money in consumers' hands. Contractionary fiscal policy, less spending and higher taxes, is used when the economy is growing too fast and inflation is high. It involves reducing government spending and raising taxes to slow down economic activity. Liberals favor expansionary policies, which include higher government spending and taxation on the wealthy. Conservatives prefer contractionary policies, which involve lower government spending and tax cuts. Monetary policy involves controlling the money supply and interest rates to influence economic growth and inflation. The Federal Reserve, often referred to as the Fed, is an independent government agency that manages monetary policy. Expansionary monetary policy, for example, involves lowering interest rates to encourage borrowing and spending and increasing the money supply to stimulate economic growth. Contractionary monetary policy, on the other hand, involves raising interest rates to slow down inflation. It also includes reducing the money supply to prevent economic overheating. Liberals may support lower interest rates during recessions to encourage economic recovery. Meanwhile, conservatives tend to prioritize controlling inflation through higher interest rates and less government interference. Political ideology also influences government policies on social programs and economic regulations. Liberals support strong government-funded welfare programs like food stamps, unemployment benefits and healthcare. Conservatives believe in reducing welfare programs and encouraging self-reliance and private charity. Liberals favor raising the minimum wage, to ensure a livable income for workers. Conservatives argue that raising the minimum wage can hurt businesses and lead to job losses. Liberals advocate for universal healthcare or expanded government programs like the Affordable Care Act, often referred to as Obamacare. On the other hand, conservatives prefer a private market-based healthcare system with minimal government involvement. Liberals support strong environmental protections and government intervention to combat climate change. Meanwhile, conservatives argue that too many regulations harm businesses and limit economic growth. Case studies in US economic policy. The New Deal, introduced by President Franklin D. Roosevelt during the Great Depression, was a pivotal moment in American history. It was based on Keynesian economics, which advocated for government intervention in the economy. The New Deal created programs like Social Security and public works projects to boost employment and provide relief to millions of Americans. Reaganomics, promoted by President Ronald Reagan in the 1980s, was centered on supply-side economics. This approach emphasized reducing taxes and government regulation to encourage economic growth. Reaganomics, included tax cuts, deregulation, and reduced government spending. These policies, aimed to stimulate economic growth by reducing the burden of taxes and regulations on businesses and individuals. By cutting taxes, the idea was to increase disposable income for consumers and investment capital for businesses. Deregulation, on the other hand, sought to remove, government-imposed barriers to innovation and efficiency. And finally, reduced government spending was intended to decrease the federal deficit and limit the role of government in the economy. Led to economic growth, but also increased income inequality. The 2008 financial crisis. President George W. Bush and later Barack Obama used government intervention to bail out banks and stimulate the economy. Led to the Dodd-Frank Act, which increased financial regulations. Understanding the ideological differences in economic policy helps explain why political debates over taxes, government spending and regulation are so contentious. These debates are at the heart of American politics and policy making, influencing elections and shaping the nation's economy.